Oh, welcome back to the Matrix. You know, the Matrix. You are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today we got ourselves a banger. Daily market news analysis. What is up? What is up? How's everyone feeling out of 10? Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting the share, repost it if you're watching on TikTok. As of the time of recording, Bitcoin currently sitting at $67,921. Looks like we're testing the 20 moving average right now. We've been putting in higher lows and lower highs. So kind of getting really coiled up here on the 5-hour chart. We can see kind of trying to break above the 50. We're going to test the 100. It is sloping down pretty far, so I anticipate us to do a little dance, but ultimately we need to put in a higher high here at $70,700 is kind of the key level, and then we'll go and test the 200. Now, we've been talking a lot about this being the potential spring, and we have up to 64 days to claim it. All right, 64 days. So that puts us about April 25th. By April 25th, we want to see this reclaimed, which is about $85,000. We need to reclaim $85,000 before. Have you ever been bearish? Yes, I have. How about I sold XRP and bought land January 25th, 2025? Have I ever been bearish? I just have a big timeline. I've been in this game a long time, and I don't blow every which way the wind blows. I understand value when I see value. Yeah, I've been bearish. I just understand value when I see value. In fact, I took profit at Bitcoin at $118,000. Anybody who got a portfolio review with me and a consultation from 2022 all the way up got an exit target for Bitcoin at $118,000. Moving along. It's going pretty good, bro. How's it going being a hoe? There is liquidity downside at 66,800 and 66,200. I anticipate us to grab some of the liquidity downside and upside in the short term. A little bit of shake and bake action going on. Now, in the last bear market at the very bottom, the spring, we talked a lot about this, was the Luna collapse. $15,600. This was November 9th, 2022. Okay? This was not the absolute bottom. This is what I anticipate is very much on the table for Bitcoin, that we get a test of liquidity. So this was the climactic event here. FTX going to zero, November 9th, 2022. But you can see on the 22nd, we tested that same level. Not only did we test it, we went slightly lower. So this was the major event. This was a test of liquidity at $15,479. I think that is very much on the table for Bitcoin, and I have my eyes on about March 3rd. That is the last lunar eclipse until 2029. That is the last lunar eclipse until 2029. He says he's in a short at 68,300. Okay, I don't know about that stop loss, brother. I don't know what your leverage is, but there's a lot of liquidity up there at 68,400. There's some at 66,000, so maybe get out. Maybe you get your short. But there you go. There's a lot of liquidity. Or what was we saying? I lost my train of thought. That's okay. Yes, March 3rd, the last lunar eclipse until 2029. So I think by about the 15th, we're going to have a noticeable shift in the energy. And that is when I'm going to be making a big play. Now, I bought some Bitcoin at 63K. I bought some XRP at $1.20. I've been buying some Solnic discs. But I plan to really push the chips forward around mid-March. So I have two stipulations for my personal plan. If we get a retest, a liquidity sweep, I'm going to start pushing the chips forward more aggressively. Whether that be XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, it would be all of them at the same time. I'm going to start pushing the chips forward aggressively. Or if we're trading sideways, meandering our way along until about the 15th or the 20th, then I'm going to start really aggressively accumulating. That is my plan of action. Now, the last bear market, I accumulated at the average price of $22,000. Okay? Did I buy the absolute bottom? No. Was I concerned about it? No, I was not. Was I in the right flavor? Yes. And the same thing happened over here. In 2018, I bought the average price of about $9,000. Did I buy the absolute bottom? No, I did not. Did I sell the absolute top in 2021? No, I did not. Did I buy around 9,000 and sell around 50,000? Yes, I did. I certainly did. And the same thing. I accumulated the average price of 22,000. I took some profit at 118,000, just like I recommended everyone who did a portfolio review with me to do the same. However, I did not take as much profit as I originally planned, but I did take more profit on XRP. Alt season soon. The Russell. Alt season has everything to do with the Russell. The one thing that has not happened, that has happened in 2021 and in 2017 was the Russell went into price discovery and distribution. This is a prerequisite. This needs to go into price discovery before we can talk about alt season. The setup looks good, but this could take months. In fact, if it continues to follow this fractal, this would have the buying climax, which would be the very start in April. But I'm not concerned until we continue to put in a new all-time high. That's what needs to happen, is the Russell needs to continue to put in new all-time highs. Ski, will Bitcoin have a bear cycle? What will it drop to? 60K. I think Bitcoin tests the liquidity, maybe 58,000. I am fairly certain that the bottom for Ethereum is already in. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think that Bitcoin bottomed first and then it was the altcoins. That is not true. That is absolutely not true. Are we live on YouTube, by the way? Am I live on YouTube? You still think Rose is a good buy? I still think Rose is a good buy. All right. Let's get this dude out of here. Get him out of here. All right, we'll look at XRP, and then we'll get into you guys'. We'll look at Ethereum, XRP, and then we'll to you guys' questions, comments, concerns. Is Solnic a good buy? I've been buying Solnic every single week. Solnic has been accumulating. Solnic has held up better than a lot of coins, to be honest with you. Let's look at Solnic real quick. Quietly, on a bit of an uptrend after accumulating. So there you go. We're testing the 100 moving average. If we can take this out, this would be the end of accumulation here. And then we'll test the 200. So yes, I've been buying this every single week. You want to buy charts that are chopping, sideways, and boring. Period. All right, let's look at Ethereum. And then we'll look at XRP. Then we'll get into you guys' questions, comments, and concerns. Dano, am I live on YouTube, brother? You think Sonic is actually going to come back? I'm not talking about Sonic. I'm talking about Solnic. Solnic. Is 88 a real thing? 88's a real thing. I don't think I'm live on YouTube. Okay, we're live on YouTube. Y'all just quiet. All right, it's all good. All right, all good. I just want to make sure because my restream was being really, really weird. Yeah, VeChain does look insane. Yes. So VeChain and Link are probably going to be some of the main blue chip. Like, you have your Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, right? And then you have your blue chips beyond that. I think VeChain and Link are going to be the main ones that I'm going to start adding to. I just made a video about Link, but I feel the same about VeChain. I'm waiting for about March 15th or one more flush if we get it. March 15th is when I'm going to start really pushing the chips forward. I feel good about Bitcoin. I feel good about XRP, Ethereum. Those are all, to me, good ranges here. I'm going to really push the chips forward. I think Bitcoin should be 25 to 50% of your portfolio. Then you should have your second favorite coin, whether it be Link, VeChain, Ethereum, XRP, whatever the case may be. That should be like the second biggest portion of your portfolio. And then you have your venture capital plays, where you can have, 5 to 15 different coins that you can, allocate. But I think a lot of people screw up is because they're too heavily invested into, venture capital plays. So make sure you get the meat and potatoes correct, especially in these sort of times. You definitely want to have heavy positions in Bitcoin. Bro, check out Rebuary. Same markets of October. I'm watching on YouTube. Okay. All right. What's up, Sona community? What's up, fam? Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting the share so other people can spam the like button. Hit that repost, y'all. What's up with March 15th? Does it have to do with lunar? Yes. Okay. The last lunar eclipse, full lunar eclipse, is March 3rd. No, I'm not predicting another flush. I'm mindful of another flush. I think that Ethereum bottom is in. I'm more open-minded to Bitcoin testing the same range. Okay, we'll talk about it. So let's talk about Ethereum, and then I'll go back to Bitcoin. I am fairly certain that the Ethereum bottom is already in. I am more open-minded that Bitcoin has a liquidity test. So if the bottom was 59,900, we could wick into 58,000 or whatever the case may be. I think that Ethereum has already bottomed, though. And I think this because that's exactly what happened in 2022. June of 2022, Ethereum bottomed. Okay, November of 2022 is when Bitcoin bottomed. Bitcoin was actually 19% lower than the June bottom. Ethereum from the June bottom to the November bottom was up 23%. Okay, from the April crash to the February 5th crash, Bitcoin was also 19% lower. Ethereum is also 23% higher. Okay, look at this volume right here. This is the highest volume that has came in since the FTX bottom. All right, there is real volume. When you have a move plus volume, that tells you that something is happening here. There's real structure taking place here. And this is the highest volume that we've had since the lunar eclipse, since the FTX went to zero. And this volume was, they were fudging the volume, to be honest. So if you look at 2022, like all the volume is way higher. It's because they were manipulating volume. They don't do it as much as they used to. But the case is still the point. Like you could see way higher volume on these big events. And this is the highest volume that we've had since any of it. Also, the most oversold that we've been on the daily RSI since not here, not the war in Israel, not Silicon Valley Bank going to zero, not FTX going to zero, not even Luna going to zero. You have to go all the way back to the 2018 bear market bottom to find a point where Ethereum has been this oversold. Okay? And we've gotten across to the upside on the daily. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to go off to Neverland or anything like that. Right now, we're testing the 20. I think if we clear the 20, we're going to go and test the 50 up there, about 2,500 in the medium term. I think by April, we'll do about that. It says you're about to see lower. Okay, great. I hope so. I hope so. Here's what I know for certain. The month of February, we have only longed Ethereum. Only. Here is the month. 14 winning days, 1 losing day, 5 days where I did not trade. Today we made $2,000. That's what I know for sure. That's what I know for sure. Okay. Now, what I'm open-minded to, not predicting for Bitcoin, back to the question, do I predict a flush down? No, but I'm open-minded to it because that's what it did in 2022. Okay, again, I'll show you. The climactic event with all of the volume was FTX going to zero. This was November 9th, 2022. Bitcoin was at $15,561. Okay, we went up a little bit, and then a few weeks later, we came to the actual bottom, which was $15,473. There was no event here. This was FTX right here. This candle was FTX. There was no event that took place here. Okay, there was no event here. That was just a liquidity test. I'm open-minded to that. I'm not predicting it. I'm open-minded to it. Ethereum was already bottomed right here. This was the bottom for Ethereum, and that was it. It was just an uptrend from that. For the live trades, you say what you enter, leverage, stop loss. Yes, all of that. I say what I'm looking for, when I'm looking for it, why I'm looking for it, the stop loss, the leverage that I'm using, the take profit. If I'm going to take profit before then, which I often do, I often take profit before my set take profit. I often do that. BitUnex, yeah, if you want to get free crypto, you can use my link. Chainlink price prediction. I just did a full breakdown on Chainlink. Chainlink is probably one of the major altcoins that I'm going to be accumulating aggressively here soon. I'm going to start pushing the chips forward. I started buying some Bitcoin and XRP. Chainlink, I think, is one of the coins I'm going to be aggressively accumulating. I'm waiting for either one of two things. Either A, one more flush, one more liquidity sweep for Bitcoin, or B, March 15th. One of those two things, I don't care which, it does not matter, but that's when I will be aggressively accumulating and starting to push the chips forward. Now, it doesn't mean that the bottom will be in, but the last bear market I accumulated Bitcoin at $22,000 average price. I accumulated XRP at average price of 30 cents. If I use Coinbase, can I copy? Yes, you can. You can hit me in the DMs for lifetime access to the Telegram. There's a one-time payment for lifetime access. I'm not going to nickel and dime you in monthly subscription and all that. BitUnex is the broker I use, Lopez. He said he will only accumulate H-bar in the bear market. Yes. Yes, brother. H-bar is probably on the list too. I'm going to say for I have Solnick and Disk that I'm accumulating now, Bitcoin. But Link It's probably going to be one of the main altcoins, VeChain, HBAR. Those will probably be the big three outside of Bitcoin XRP. That's probably going to be the most of my portfolio. The major portion is going to be Bitcoin. And then I'm going to have some venture capital plays. We can copy trade. Yeah. Kind of. I manually call out what I'm thinking, when I'm thinking, why I'm thinking, what stop loss is. Like I'm live. It's a live trading session. Like I'm charting it. I'm showing exactly my screen that I'm looking at, what I'm thinking, why I'm thinking. It's not meant to be entertaining. It's just, I do it that way so people can get the best entries. Will Rose be a venture capital trade? Probably. Probably. It's at least going to be a hold for me. Ski, it feels like we just keep getting flushed. We've been at the same range for a while. I mean, I get that feeling, but I mean, realistically, it's February 20th at this point, and we have, we went down to 59,000. We've been on a slight uptrend since then. I mean, I guess like it's been a couple weeks though. So yeah, like we had a spring in mind here. This was deeper than what we anticipated. But for the idiots who are like, and not you, but there are idiots like, oh, how's the Wyckoff going? Just morons. Here's the price of cows. So I want to show you guys something real quick. People are like, oh, that's too deep to be a spring. Selling climax spring. That's my thesis. We're going to show you from the selling climax to the spring, from wick to wick, 24%. Okay, I'm going to show you the price of cows. Cows. Like actual real life cows. This is live cattle futures. LE is the ticker. And the reason that I am looking at this is because I plan to raise cattle on my farm. And what we have here is Wyckoff accumulation, and we have a selling climax, and we have a spring. This is cows. This is not some meme coin. This is cows. This is the price of per 100 pounds. Okay? How's Wyckoff going? People are morons. 22% from the selling climax to the spring. This is cows. This is not a meme coin. And then what happened? Sign of strength, back test, markup. You love to see it. So this hasn't been confirmed for Bitcoin. We need to reclaim 80K to confirm it. But that's what it looks like because we have lots of volume showing up. He says, everyone double tap the screen for 1 minute. A cow meme coin would probably do well. Is there a cow you like to mine currently? Opinion on Hyperliquid. I don't really have an opinion on Hyperliquid. It's fine. I don't really feel any way one way or the other. At Skis Crypto, what are you adding me about? What are you atting me about? Thoughts on XRP this year? Okay, here's my thoughts on XRP. XRP was my largest altcoin position. Okay, publicly I accumulated XRP. I got a lot of hate. Publicly, I accumulated XRP at 30 cents. I got a lot of hate for it. People told me it was a scam, all this and that. And then it went to $3.33, and I publicly took profit. Now, is that the absolute top? No. I think we went to $3.66. I sold publicly at $3.33. January 25th, 2025. I bought my farm publicly. This all happened. The people in the comments were roasting me. They were flaming me in the comments. Don't look at the charts in May. That's what they told me. Okay? I said that I have absolutely zero interest in buying XRP until we get back to $1.30. That was the value and the interest when I had XRP. And then I said that I had limit orders at $1.30 and $1.11. I bought, though, those stink orders got filled. I bought this dip right here. I am back in XRP. I still had some. I still had a lot. But I bought more at about $1.20. And I think that this is a decent chance, probably about an 85% chance that the XRP bottom is in. Now, we'll probably test this. That would be really common. We might get a liquidity test down to, $1.11, whatever. I have one more limit order at 88 cents, and I plan to just leave that. If it gets filled, I hope it does. However, if we just chop sideways until about the 15th, I'm going to start accumulating more aggressively and on a weekly basis. In the short term, same thing. For a spring, we have to reclaim this range here. When you have a whole range, you lose it. That's fine for a spring, but within 64 days, you have to reclaim it. So by about April, we need to reclaim this $2 range to confirm this as a spring, which that's about where the 200 moving average is. It's still sloping up right now. So if we reclaim this, that would be confirmation that that was the spring, that was the bottom. But I feel pretty good about the value. I understand it could probably go to maybe 88 cents if we're lucky, blessed, and highly favored. But I feel good about the value of XRP at this point. I think it'll probably go to about $5, $8, $12. Those are still my targets. You think Ondo can get to $5? It's very possible. I think I just did a portfolio today for somebody, and I think I had $5 as like the maximum parabolic target. We in a bear market? Okay. Won't leave that wick without getting filled. Okay, brother. XRP does this stuff all the time. Like, if you have issue with what I'm saying, just know that I've been accumulating XRP for 8 years. Okay? XRP does this stuff right here all the time. Did you buy this? Let me go on like the 5-hour chart to really show this. Like, look at this. Look at this wick down here. The price was 44. We wicked down to 42 in like an hour. Same right here. We wicked down to 43 in like an hour. It does it all the time. All the time, XRP does that. If it goes to 88 cents, it's not going to live there. It's going to be a crazy liquidation and then off to Neverland. I'm not predicting it. I'm saying I have a limit stink bid down there in case it happens because I understand very well how XRP moves. Very, very well how XRP moves. But structurally, I think there's a strong chance. I think Ethereum, I feel the strongest about that it's bottom. I feel pretty strong about XRP. And then Bitcoin, I'm more open-minded to a test of the liquidity sweep. So, yeah, I'm not predicting it does that, but I have stank bids down there just in case it does. I don't think they'll get filled. I have a limit order at 88 cents. I don't think it gets filled, but I'm ready if it goes there. I hope it does. I hope I get a stank bid down there. But if not, my plan of action is if we're just chopping sideways about the 15th of March, I'm going to start accumulating. Do you come live every day? Yes. Monday through Friday, generally, I'm going to start doing more on the weekends a little bit. If Bitcoin goes to 50, it will go there. I don't think Bitcoin goes to 50. And same thing though. I think it'll be if Bitcoin goes to 50, it'll look like this. That's what I think. That is my prediction. If Bitcoin goes to 50, it'll look like that. That's why I have the daily body bet. But Monday through Friday, Trisha, hopefully I'm saying your name right. Monday through Friday, usually around this time is when I'm live. I'm going to start going live more on the weekends, but Monday through Friday always. And the reason I'm going to start picking up again is because this really is my favorite like tribe of people. When things are really, really hot, it's the best to live stream and make content and stuff. However, it's my least favorite time to make content because people are like FOMOing in. They weren't accumulating down here. And then if you're like any slightest bit bearish, they get pissed. And then people are pissed all the way down on the downtrend. But when you start accumulating, it's like the real people who are really about it are here. And that is my favorite people. And if you're new to my channel, I call those people the savages, because if you're still here grinding, learning, working on your craft, when it sucks and it's not awesome, then you're a savage and you are the future 1%. I think we go roller. Okay. Yeah, 10%. Sure. Whatever. Like, here's the deal. This is, okay. Let's just think. Yes, XRP is fulfilling, potentially fulfilling. We don't want to say fulfilling because it hasn't been confirmed. Potentially. Yes. All right. Here's the deal. Let's say you're right. Again, I want to think about this like a trader. And this is my whole thing about people will always wait for the day that never comes. And it's like a perverted greed that shows up. What do I mean by that? In 2022, it was the same exact thing. Everybody and their brother and their mother and their wife's boyfriend was waiting for $12K. We were at $15,000. We were at $16,000 for 64 days. And everyone was certain that 12K was coming and they weren't going to buy a penny until it did. And guess what? It never came. And that's greed. You're greedy for a price. Now, let's go back to my man Judy. Says 10% down. I'll buy that for sure. I'll buy that for $1. But I want to think about it like a trade. Okay? Risk to reward. Ideally, when I put a trade in, I try to set up at least, here's my month of February, I try to set up at least a double risk to reward ratio. I want to risk half of what the potential reward is. At least. Okay? So let's just say instead of 10% drop, it's 20%. Let's say it's 25%. Let's get crazy. Okay. Well, Judy, okay. I'm with you. But I still like this as a teaching point. Even if I misread your comment, I still like it as a teaching point. Because this is the common doctrine that's happening right now. Everyone is waiting for the scheduled October 50K bottom. That is the 4-year religion that's happening right now. You can hit me in the DMs, Sethi. All right. So let's just say it's in. We're going to set this up like it's a trade. I try to get at least a double risk to reward ratio. Okay. Let's get crazy. And we're going to say the risk down is 25%. I don't think it's 25% down, but let's get crazy. Let's get crazy. And let's say it's 25% down, 50,000. Let's say it's 25% from this wick right here, from the wick low. Let's get crazy. 25% down, $45,000. Okay? Let's say that that's what you think is the downside risk here. All right? Now, 25%. So let's make it easy. Let's say we risk 10 grand. Okay? 25% return on that. If we were in a short, meaning we're betting that the market is going to go down, that would be $2,500 for our $10,000 risked. Okay, let's see what the upside is on that same 10 grand. About a 3x. Okay, so that same 10 grand is going to be worth about $35,000. Is that a double risk to reward ratio? No, it is not. But it is a double risk to reward ratio for buying. It is not a double risk to reward ratio for waiting. Sui will go to 55 cents? Maybe. Listen, I never got so much hate as when I was bearish on Sui. I publicly called the top on Sui and people were pissed. Pissed. I never got so much hate as when I was bearish on Sui. People were pissed, bro. I'm going to pull up my Sui chart and I guarantee you there's a Wyckoff distribution. Look, buying climax, up thrust, UTAD. There it is. Buying climax, up thrust, UTAD. That is a topping structure. That is what I had for Sui from November of 2024 through January. People were pissed. Now, I think that it's a decent chance that this is accumulating here. This is the market cap, though. We had this big 10-10 wick, and we have ruled down and filled this out. And we're on top of prior structure. I actually don't mind the structure of Sui. I don't know what the price. I don't even know what the price of Sui is right now. I don't own any Sui. I don't know if I would wait for. I mean, I guess it technically could. I think that Sui is a decent value, though, actually, and I've never owned any Sui. I never owned any Sui ever. Thank you for the $4.99 donation, brother. You savage. I appreciate you. Says Ski, the savages need you during the bull market. Got to tell us when to sell. Got to be live during then. Yeah, I'll be live for sure. It's just my favorite time is now. My favorite time to be a content creator about crypto is now. Right now, when it sucks. My least favorite time is when it's awesome. Because there's so many experts, there's so much noise, there's so much hype. If you're even slightly bearish, people get pissed. It's just not, it's not fun, honestly. Like Alex really caught the wrath of it because he was even more bearish than I was. I was bearish on a lot of coins that I was being asked about, but then I thought we would get more rotation into some of the legacy coins that didn't happen, into some of my venture capital plays that didn't happen. Alex was just outright bearish, and people were like really just nasty to him, honestly. Just really gross and nasty. And I think it, will wear on him in a lot of ways. Uh, 10% up would probably test that 5100 you mentioned. For months, my target has been 44 to 60K. I think 60K is like, if anything under 65K to me is extreme value. Can we go to 44? Like, sure. But I don't care. You know what I mean? It's the difference between 20K and 15K. Like I literally just don't care. I bought at 63K. I sold some at 118. And listen here, like I'll be honest and transparent. When Bitcoin went to $118,000, that was my target. That was my first major target. In fact, April 7th, when we were at 74K, I literally mapped it out perfectly. I said that Bitcoin would go to 118 and 70, but 118 first. So when we got to 118, I was pretty skittish. And then that last move, I took some profit on Bitcoin at 118. However, not as much as I originally planned. And that was a mistake. All through here, I was skittish. When we came down, came back up past this move got me right here. The 126 part got me because I thought we were going to go to the 2618. So this one falsely made me bullish. I was skittish through all of this. I did take profit on Bitcoin. This move right here got me. But that's okay. I'm still happy that I took profit. I'm still happy that anyone who booked a call with me had on a spreadsheet $118,000 as a target to exit Bitcoin. Ski, can you please do fibs for VeChain? Yes. I think it's 11 cents. And 49 cents is the high. For the next bull run, let me do VeChain real quick. 290 would be maximum parabolic, and I think 160 would be like the 118. But I think, though, my thesis is that we're going to have the roaring 20s. And 2029 is the big one. So same thing. We had this big wick here. We've ruled down and filled this out. It started chopping sideways. We need to put in a higher high, short term, and then reclaim this as a spring. That's what needs to happen for VeChain. But retracement, even just a retracement, is 15 cents. I think that there's money to be made from the 382 even to the 618. Like, that's money in the bank. It doesn't even need to go to an all-time high. To 10 cents, to 8 cents is a 9x from here. Like, do I think it will go to 10 cents? Yes, easily. If it wants to go to price discovery, that's 49 cents. But you don't need it to do that. It can just retrace, which coins do again and again and again. That's all you needed to do. And that's a lot of money. All right, let me look at Bitcoin. Let's pretend for a minute we're from the future and we know we'll call it 58,000. I think that we might wick there on a liquidity grab. Let's say 58,000 is the bottom. We're from the future. We know that for certain. 1618 is $160,000. 2618 is 228,000, and the 3618 is 290,000. Thank you for the $20 donation, you savage brother. Did you have anything to ask, or you just want to support? I appreciate you. How do we DM you? I wanted to join. You can message me on Instagram, Telegram. Those are the easiest, probably. If you're watching on TikTok, you can watch me on TikTok. But if you're watching on YouTube, Instagram or Telegram are the easiest. My handle is the same. And you'll know because I will never message you first. I will message you back if you message me. But it's at Yaboyski. YABOYSKEY. What was I saying? Oh, the roaring 20s. My thesis is we're going to be rocking and rolling into 2028. And I actually think that what everyone wanted in 2025, we're going to get in 2026, 2027, 2028. And then it's going to be the big one for everything. Silver, the stocks, crypto, probably. All of it. That's my thesis. The Chainlink will rip. I think Chainlink gets to a minimum of $38. Chainlink is probably going to be one of the main altcoins outside of Bitcoin and XRP that I'm going to be accumulating. I did not say that, Adria Costa. I did not say that. What I said was, my thesis is we will be rocking and rolling into 2028. And then that is the big one for everything. September of 2028. The roaring 20s. And all of the liquidity grabs that we're seeing are just prerequisites of just kinks in the armor. And it will all be forgiven at a new all-time high, and no one will remember. Just like Solana, the main blockchain went down 5 different times in the bear market, and no one gave a crap at $300. ETH's price discovery is 7,200. 5K would just be a test of the all-time high. Technically, price discovery for ETH is 7,200, and I do think that we will see that. I mean, he says, when you say the big one in 2029, you mean pump or crash? I mean, what happened in 1929? Yes, I think that Ethereum has bottomed. Out of all the altcoins, out of all the cryptocurrencies, blue chips, Ethereum is the one I am the most confident has bottomed. I think 1741 was it for Ethereum. I do not think we take out that low. I'm open-minded to Bitcoin. I'm slightly open-minded to XRP getting some sort of wick. Ethereum, though, I am pretty certain has already bottomed. Do you use the total chart? I do. What's Solana going to in 2028? Still the same prices. 10 cents, $1, $5.89. $19.29. People jumped out the windows. Well, listen, your life is more valuable than magic internet money. No matter what happens. But, you know, like, I think having a plan of action of like, hey, going on offense to combat what happened in the roaring 20s, despite what's being told to you. And then no matter how euphoric things may get, take profit and have a plan of action. We're beyond due for a bounce. I agree. I had a dream that Ethereum went to 2,200. I had a dream that Ethereum went to 2,200. And I don't even dream like that. I've been dreaming a lot lately, though. When you think the market will top 2026, thanks. No, I think I will look for specific signs of distribution, bearish divergences. Like, I'm going to look for specific signs, right? However, my general thesis is we're going to be rocking and rolling into 2028. I think we may go there the next week or two. 2,200, I think so too. Where's Dr. Disrespect going? Dr. Disrespect's pumping. She's pumping. I keep buying. I bought some more last night. Pretty close to going into price discovery. All right, guys. Reminder. Lifetime access to the Telegram. I live trade. It is not supposed to be, listen, full transparency. It's not supposed to be fun. When I am live in the Telegram, it's not fun or entertaining. I do it that way so that I can call out exactly what I'm thinking, when I'm thinking, what are my entries, what are my stop losses, all of that stuff, right? I do it that way so everyone can get the best possible entries and exits. And I outline like what I'm looking for and like what are the take profits and stop losses, but often I close my trades before I get to a take profit. Anyways, here's the month of February. 14 winning days, 1 losing day, 5 flat days. If you guys want lifetime access to that, we're running a sale. Hit me in the DMs for that. Just wish I had some kind of estimated time period to see some kind of impulsive moves. April. I think April. I think April, yep. What do you think of liquidity pools like Orca and VFAT? Most of the liquidity pools that I've ever used have been Radium. I use some on SaucerSwap and Jupiter. I haven't really messed too much with any of those, so I can't give you like. I don't like speaking on things that I don't like have a clear thing, so I don't know. What's your X name? At Gayeski. So if you search your boy Ski, my handle is GA. Here you go. GA. Oh my God, that's not an A. JEWSKEY. That's my last name. That's where the Ski, your boy Skis Crypto. There you go. That's my handle on X. And then everything else besides TikTok is YABOYSKEY. I will never message you first. Those are scammers. You have any thoughts on Pi Network? I do have thoughts on Pi Network. I don't like it. It has an ungodly amount of inflation. I don't think it's a good investment personally. I hope I am laughably wrong. I hope that you can just look at me one day and just laugh at how silly I am. But the tokenomics on Pi are terrible. I have it up because I use it as an example all the time. ISB a good buy now. I think so. Yeah. So here's Pi Network. Let me pull this over just a wee bit here. There we go. Here's Pi Network. The market cap is $1.57 billion right now. The FDV, the fully diluted value, meaning if all of the tokens were diluted, meaning would be 17.4 billion. What does that mean? Well, when you look down here, you see circulating supply is 9%. What does that mean? That means for every 1 Pi token you own now, at some point in the future, you will need to own 11 Pi tokens to equal that one. because they will, over the course of time, be diluting the supply 11-1, which is far worse than the US dollar. So, listen, I hope I'm dead wrong about it. I hope that you can just laugh in my face about how stupid that this was, but this is the most economic thing 101. And for me personally, if you're asking your boy Ski, when I look at a coin, I want to have a coin that the market cap and the FDV are ideally as close as possible. So like Bitcoin is 1.3 trillion, 1.35. The FDV is 1.42, right? 95% of the supply is circulating. Beautiful. Why am I bullish on VeChain? Right? It's pretty simple. There's no more supply dumpage. All the supply is all the supply. That's it. Where is VeChain? Here we are. Market cap 679. FDV 682. That's pretty damn close. 99.16% of the total supply that will ever exist for VeChain already exists. Now, for me, the threshold is 40%. It needs to at least be within 40%. I'm willing to have a little bit of wiggle room. Like AVAX, has a little bit of inflation. But if it's within 40%, it's okay for me. So the market cap is 4 billion. The FDV is 6.5. That's a little bit. But if it's within 40%, 40% is the number for me, which AVAX is right there. That means theoretically, there will be less inflation on this coin than the US dollar. So that's a personal thing for me. If it has more than a 40% discrepancy between market cap and FDV, it's not a buy for me. Now, sometimes I miss out on stuff. Like I never bought any Arrow. I never bought any Ondo. I never bought any Sui because of that. But a lot of times it saves me. Why is your biggest accumulation Bitcoin and not Link or VeChain? Because I know Bitcoin is more predictable what it's going to do. The others are not as predictable. A Honey says hi. What's up? So there you go. That's my thoughts on Pi. And listen, I hope that you will laugh at me someday of how wrong I was. Or genuinely, I do. But that is not a good principle for me. Personally. That's just... I don't invest in coins that have a crazy amount of supply like that. Thank you for the $1.99 donation, brother. Yeah, savage. What are the chances VeChain hits price discovery? 27%. Dami says, hey, brother, I've been following you since 2022. You're absolutely the most solid influencer on the net. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. I don't get everything right. I get things wrong, but I'm accountable when I'm wrong, and I'm constantly trying to work on my craft, and I try to be as grounded as humanly possible. And right, wrong, or indifferent. Listen, here's the deal with me. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Whatever opinion you're hearing coming out of my mouth, it is coming from my brain and from my heart and from my soul. You're not going to hear an opinion from me that came somewhere else. So often I will not regurgitate whatever is being chanted. Waiting for the scheduled 50K bottom in October. Like, I'm not going to do that. Sometimes I'm wrong. But whatever you're hearing out of my mouth is coming from my own thoughts and subconscious and my heart and soul and nowhere else. They're like, what do you think about XX person? It's like, I don't watch anybody. Because I want to have my own opinions. I want to have my own thoughts. I don't want to be influenced. Do you have a Telegram group? I do have a Telegram group. I live trade in the Telegram group every single day. Running a sale right now. Here's the month of February. 14 winning days, 1 losing days. Today we made $2,090. You can hit me in the DMs for lifetime access. Do you like FET at all? It's okay. Realistic price targets for, I think, 10 to 30 cents for VeChain. Like 10 cents is a 10x right now. So you don't even need anything crazy. Sonic is pumping. You still an Ethereum Classic guy? I haven't been asked about Ethereum Classic in a minute. There was a lot of hate. Listen, I only trade Ethereum. I'm only longing Ethereum regular every day. But yeah, I like Ethereum Classic. It's cool. You're the first person to ask me about Ethereum Classic in a minute, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Akashi says Sonic's pumping. Is it? I know we're on a bit of an uptrend. Oh, this is the 5-day. Yeah, we sure are. This looks strong. This looks like a strong accumulation here. You're the first person to ask me about ETC in a while, though. Kind of a lot of the same as everything else. Like it had this big 10-10 wick, and we've kind of grilled down to fill that wick out. Pretty much the same. I don't like. Yeah, this is at the. This has just been accumulating the whole time, really. Realistically. All right, guys. That's gonna be it for this time. I'll probably be live tomorrow. Maybe. Monday through Friday, though, I'm definitely live. I'm definitely trading Monday through Friday. If you want lifetime access to the Telegram, you can hit me in the DMs for that. If you want to book a call with me, you can book me on my Calendly. You don't even need to DM me. You can just book me and pick a spot whenever you want to do some coaching. We can do portfolio coaching, whether it be entry strategy, exit strategy, or one-on-one coaching as far as trading. Kind of getting a sit down as far as my methodology and all of that. So if not, make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I will never, never, never message you first. Those are scammers. I'm not going to message you and ask you for money. If you message me, I will message you back. All right? And that's going to be it for this time. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.